What's up, everybody? King Triple C here, the Olympic champion, flyweight champion, the Bantamweight champion of the world. And I got a public service announcement to all you wannabe MMA casuals or MMA fans for that reason. You guys make sure to listen to my boy Story of the Fight with Will and Miro. You know why? Because Triple C said so. And if you don't, you can do me a favor and you can bend the knee to King Triple C 2.
What shirt do you have on?
This is Army of Darkness. Well, this is Ash vs. Evil Dead, the TV show.
That's sick.
Yeah, you're all Giants out, all crazy.
Oh yeah, man, I got to represent over here.
They're on a hot streak right now.
Yeah, there's not too many Giants fans over here.
That makes sense.
So, like, I know that when somebody's like, yeah, Giants, as they walk by, they really mean it.
Yeah, they're not just fans from the World Series a few years ago.
Yeah. Yeah. How was your week, man? I don't think I've talked to you all week.
Yeah, I mean, it's been crazy. I mean, there's, with work, dealing with the fires in Carmel, Big Sur, Salinas, and then Morgan Hill just had one.
Damn.
And then my brother lives in the Santa Cruz Mountains, and there's like the fires over there right now, that's a crazy one. They've like evacuated a ton of stuff, like all Scotts Valley, Ben Lomond, Davenport's all burned down, like crazy. That actually the last horror short that we did, that cabin I'm pretty sure burned down because that whole road is like right in the middle of where the fire perimeter is. Crazy.
Damn.
I know.
That sucks, man.
Really.
Yeah, I've been trying to keep up with the news on that over here. And I mean, it's all over social media, you know, but it's pretty sad, man.
Yeah, it sucks. Sucks.
You were volunteering yesterday?
Yeah, well, because Brian and Dom, they, like I said, they live in the Santa Cruz Mountains, and they're like on the verge of being evacuated. Like one more zone over, and they're going to be evacuated, I'm pretty sure. And they have like a ton of animals and stuff, and their neighbors have a bunch of animals and stuff. So the Watsonville Fairgrounds for like the Santa Cruz County Fair and stuff, they have a bunch of barns that are like housing everybody's animals right now. And there's a bunch of people like,
oh man,
brought their RVs out and tents out and stuff that are like staying there because they've been evacuated. So Brian and Dom are like, I don't know how it started, but they're like running this whole thing and like getting volunteers to come out and like feed the animals, clean up the pens, give them clean food and water, all that stuff. And just, yeah, it's crazy. So we were over there yesterday just helping out, like clean pens and do the water and all that jazz.
Good for you, man. You're a good guy. You're a good guy. I didn't do anything like that this week.
What did you do this week?
Nothing. I worked. I got some new shoes.
There you go.
Yeah,
I bought new shoes too.
What?
I bought new shoes yesterday because I don't have any shoes that are like fuck around in shoes. And I was like, I'm not going to clean all these like animal pens in my Doc Martens. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. Well, the shoes I got are definitely not fuck around in shoes. I got the new, the Jordan 5 Bel Airs, dude. You should put a little picture of them like right here.
Yeah.
So everybody can see them. I love them. They're my favorite shoes right now. Freaking love them.
That's sick.
Yeah. But, I mean, other than that, the kids started school today.
Yeah.
I dropped them off earlier today. They're super excited. They're pumped, ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
Like we talked about recently, though, it's just all, it's all weird. You know what I mean? Like they're walking in with their mask. Like me as a parent, like I don't know like how much I could do. Like I walk into like the gym and I'm just like, shit, am I even supposed to walk in with them? Am I allowed to? Then I walk in, I'm like, well, how much can I stay? So like I just help them set up their laptops, you know, so they can get ready for their Zoom classes and stuff. Because it's not like official school yet. Like they go into their actual classes in a couple weeks. Mm-hmm. Right now, they're going into something where some substitute teachers are kind of like just helping them through the process and everything.
Gotcha.
But at least they're getting back. They're excited though. You know,
That's cool.
They don't really like grasp how much is going on with the pandemic, so they're just excited to go back to school.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah, makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah, dude. But that was my week. See, I didn't do any superhero shit. I didn't save any animals. I didn't do anything like that, man. Just worked.
There's no fires there. You know?
No, we're in a drought. We got a drought.
Yeah. Me and Ivan, my cadet, we we tried to go up the ladder and see if there was a way that we could use our vans, our work vans, to like help people like move shit out of their houses who are being evacuated, you know?
Oh yeah.
And that got shot
No
down.
luck.
I mean, it's one of those things. I understand, you know, because they're like, oh, we don't have liability waivers for someone's stuff gets damaged, and the vehicles, you guys are only insured to drive them if you're on the clock, and it's like, I don't know.
Yeah, no, I get it. Yeah, I mean, it's big corporate. You know, they have to look out for themselves too.
Yeah,
I understand, but just like the good person in you says, like, hey, I have this vehicle. Like, why can't we help out?
Well, it's one of those things where it's like, okay, those are the rules. Now, who can we talk to who actually has the power to make exceptions or finagle those rules and create new rules for this exception, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know. I get liability waivers and stuff like that. They have to be written up. They have to be vetted. They have to be bulletproof, all that kind of stuff, which takes time. Fires will be gone by the time it's done anyways. I don't know. It just sucks.
Yeah. I mean, but if you at least get the ball rolling, I mean, why not? You know, if you just bring it up to somebody, see what they could do, I'm sure it would help a lot. Dude,
I mean, that's the thing. It's like how many people are losing all their stuff because they can only take what they can carry to their car. They might not have a vehicle they can throw all their stuff in. If we can just take the van in and just load it up with stuff. I know it sounds... Yeah. I get it. I don't know.
No, but dude, it makes sense though, because I think, like, luckily I'm not in a situation like that, but if I was, you know how much stuff I can load in my Camaro? Nothing. I had a hard time fitting a box of paper towels in there right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, bro? Like, so it like in that situation, something like what you're talking about would help me out a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. Would have been cool, but you know, it didn't happen, and it is what it is.
It is what it is, man. It is. How's jiu-jitsu?
It's good, dude. It was good. Got my ass kicked, you know? Didn't kick anybody's ass, you know?
But it's okay.
Yeah.
Because you either you win or you learn.
Exactly.
You win or you learn. And it sounds like you learned a lot today.
Yeah. There was a spot. I tried to... I'm still at the point where if I see, like, oh, I'm potentially setting up the submission, I'm, like, so focused on just that submission. And then when it fails or it gets defended, now I'm like, okay, now think of something else. And then... But in that position, I was trying to set up a triangle for mount, and I was like, I had my arm around the back of the head for a pillow, was grabbing the armpit, the far side armpit, and then was going to sit up, turn, and then put my leg behind the head. And in that position, I could have probably transitioned and hopped off the side and just went for an arm triangle, and it was already pretty much set up. But I was like, I'm so focused on the triangle that I didn't realize that until I fell out of the triangle, and I was like, I could have just went for the arm triangle, and I don't know. You know, just those kinds of things.
Dude, next time I'm in town, we have to roll.
Yeah, dude, definitely.
We have to. I miss Professor Adrian, man. Yeah. Like, one of my fondest memories of jiu-jitsu is with Professor Adrian, where he where like my lights went out for a little bit. I think he was like showing us how to do the collar choke from the back. Yeah. And I tapped, and I think I tapped too lightly. And next thing I know, I'm like off to the side on my knees, and you're in the position I was in. I was like, what just happened right now? How did I get from there to here? It was awesome.
That's awesome. Yeah.
But, dude, speaking of, did you get to watch all the fights?
Yeah, I ended up, I couldn't watch them live because I was helping Omar record something for a project that he wants to do with his music. And then, but Sunday morning, I was able to watch them all. Well, I didn't watch all of them, but I watched the notable ones.
Yeah, I mean, I got off work late, and this card started a little earlier, right? So I'm still going to go back and see some of the prelims. I definitely caught the main card, and I'm glad I did, man, because there were some fun fights in there.
The main card was awesome. I watched the whole main card. I watched the whole main card, and I watched the only prelim fight that I watched was the Trevin Jones Valia fight. But other than that, the main card was so fun. So fun.
Dude, the Daniel Rodriguez versus Dwight Grant fight.
Yeah.
Caution to the wind right away. Both of them
caution to the wind just by signing the fight. They signed the fight, the day before?
So true. Yeah, so true. And that's probably why they went out the way they did. It's like, all right, we didn't prep for this person.
Yeah.
Right, let's
Game
just go
plan
in
is
there
to
and
go
bang.
fuck someone up. Yeah.
And they tried, man. You
Yeah.
know? And props to the ref in that fight.
Great refing.
Yeah, some of the refs would have stopped it.
Yeah.
For sure. Mm-hmm. And I'm not going to lie, man. If I was in there, I probably would have stopped it. You know?
Yeah. I thought they were going to, but the whole time I was like, don't stop this yet. Don't do it. Don't do it. And then didn't. And then, I mean, not as dramatic and over the top as Pat Barry versus Chet Congo, but very similar.
I was thinking that exact same fight.
Yeah.
That exact same fight came to mind, man.
Yeah.
Just when you think somebody's down and out, you know, and man, Rodriguez is so tough.
Yeah.
He just reminds me like of an old school East Salinas Cholo going out there, ready to do work, right? East LA, East Salinas.
Yeah.
Tatted up in the chest, right?
Everywhere.
Reminds me of some of my old homeboys.
Yeah.
And dude, he goes in there and he does work, man.
Yeah, that was sick.
And again, props to both of them for taking the fight. Just agreeing to the fight a few hours before that. And I don't think Dwight Grant's stock fell too much. You know,
I mean, what are you going to do? 1 day notice. I mean, it's not like he was sitting on his couch. He had a fight that was canceled, but still, you sign a new opponent, 1 day notice, and almost finish him in the first round, you know?
Yeah, and you know Uncle Dana sees that type of shit, and he loves it, man.
Yeah.
So he even though he lost, you know, he kind of blew his wad there, trying to put Rodriguez out with the amount of punches that he was throwing and with the amount of force. And I just figured, you know, if Rodriguez is able to weather this storm, he might be able to have a little bit of energy left to try to put him out, and he did.
And that was a slick shot once they got back up. That was a very slick shot inside that he landed on him that wobbled him. Whereas when I was first watching it live, or not live, but when I was first watching it, and that happened, I almost thought that Grant slipped because of his cardio. I thought he blew his wad and slipped and was like, and then I was like, wait, is he gassed or is he rocked? It was either a hook or an elbow in tight as they were getting up. I don't remember what it was, but yeah, it was something in tight, and he just went back against the cage and was like real wobbly, and I was like, oh shit, that was a real hit. Okay,
I heard him,
and then he just was able to put it together enough to get the finish, and yeah, it looked good. And like you said, where Dana takes notice, Dana said that he was like, it was almost impossible picking like performance of the night's bonuses, and he's like most of these guys are getting checks, not like we can only hand out. Yeah, he's like, we can only hand out so many of the awards, but everybody deserved them pretty much. Super sick.
That's so sick, man. That's one of the things I do like about that is that he doesn't necessarily follow like there's only got to be two. If there's people that he feels deserves it, he'll pay out, man.
Yeah.
And I've heard stories and read stories where fighters say that Dana would literally walk into the back with a check for a fighter and just say, I loved your fight, man. Great performance, and just hand him a check. Yeah. I think Brendan Schaub has one where he talks about where he fought Mirko Krokop, right? And he loved the fight so much. Brendan was getting a fight of the night bonus, but then he walked up to Mirko and gave Mirko a check too and said, dude, fantastic. And then he saw how much Mirko was getting paid and how much he got paid, and he's like, I got to do something else.
Yeah. And then, shit, I just forgot what I was going to say. Oh, well, no worries.
It's all good. You want to move on to the next one?
Oh no, I got it.
Boom,
those locker room bonuses, yeah, right away. It was in and out. The locker room bonuses, that was like a lot of people talked about those for a long time, and then the narrative kind of changed. And I saw someone recently be like, "Oh, there was one of the fighters' agents in an interview said that doesn't really happen anymore. It's not a thing." And it's like, yeah, no shit. The fighters don't tell the agents about those. Why then they got to give them 10% of it?
Exactly. It would be silly. Like, hey, bro, guess what? I just got another $50,000 check.
Yeah.
You want some of this?
Yeah.
You know,
Stupid.
He's already paying them. Yeah. So the next one, I know we didn't post our picks. I got the first one right. This Mariya Agapova fight, though I didn't pick correctly.
Well, shout out to Derwin Lamb on this one.
For sure.
You know, he trained Dobson for a good amount of time, and she came in at they closed at a plus 870 underdog or 800.
Yep. No, 870.
870. Jesus. If I was really focused on the fights that night because I was focusing on working with Omar and all this stuff, and I saw that, I would have done anything I could to put money down on this fight. Not because I thought because obviously the odds are stacked the way they're stacked for reasons. Agapova, I don't know. Agapova, not my favorite personality right now, but Dobson on a 3-fight losing streak. Agapova comes in, wins her debut. Everybody was super high on her for her debut, which I wasn't super high off of her performance, and who she fought. No disrespect, but I was like, this is great. Like anytime those odds are up there, you just do it. You just put some money. Nothing crazy. I mean, plus 870. What is that? A $10 bet gets you $87.
Yep, $100 gets you 870. Why not?
Yeah, why not? I mean, I'm not gonna put down $100 because I don't have that much of a gap in my wallet. But I'll put down 10. Win a cool $87.
Yeah. I mean, why not, right?
Why not?
And I think this was just an example of experience, right? Shana again coming in and just making sure, very similar to Rodriguez, where he was able to weather the storm. And Agapova came in, man, just with those kicks, full power to the body over and over again.
She came in and it was just like the complete lack of respect for her opponent when she came in. I mean, she looked like she was throwing a strike before she was done throwing another strike. She was just all over the place, just like so. I saw that and I was like, this is gonna be a short night for her if she keeps fighting like that. Because she was just so wild and reckless, and like nothing looked tight.
And she got gassed.
She got gassed. Everything looked looping, and I don't know. Nothing looked right when she came out. And she just went guns blazing, way too hard, way too reckless. Dobson was able to, like you said, weather the storm, but also just keep composure. Landed some good trips, good takedowns,
and her ground game.
Yeah, it looked really good. And Agapova, I mean, she took her back. She looked good too, but she survived it. The stoppage was a little weird for me. I feel like nothing was landing very cleanly, but I think Agapova's like facial expressions were like doing herself wrong. It was she looked like she was in agony. I was like, holy shit! Like none of these are really landing that clean, but she looked like she was in the most.
If I remember correctly, she had her right hand up, covering her face. And Shana was hammer fisting. Mm-hmm. And even during the replay, I feel like Dominic Cruz had to build it up a little bit. And he's like, look at those hard hammer fists. I mean, listen to them. And they were like right on the glove, but still, I think the ref probably saw that Agapova just didn't have anything else to give and just to prevent any more damage going forward. Yeah,
that's the thing. You always, at least for me, sometimes I lose sight in the fact that it's not, are the shots doing damage too much? There's two things. There's the damage, and then there's the not intelligently defending. So if I'm just laying there and I'm just like shelling up, not really fighting, and I'm getting hit with these shots, they're not knocking my head back, and I'm not going to get knocked out by them. But at a certain point, it's like you have to do something. You can't just lay there. Yeah. And I'm not, obviously, it's way harder than it is to, like, easier said than done. But, that was crazy. And Agapova, man, she comes in, wins her debut, 9-1. And then she calls out someone who's lost 3 in a row. And it's like, not cool. And then I
came back and bit her on the ass,
Yeah, this was almost my story of the fight just because of that, to be honest. Just because that cockiness and just like you come in, make a statement in your debut, and people think you look really good, and then you just call someone out who's like down on their luck right now. And it's like, no, that's not how this works. Don't do that. And then to get the comeuppance is kind of, no disrespect, but it's nice to see. And then again, shout out Derwin Lamb for training Dobson. Not currently, but in the past.
Not currently, yeah. I mean, I think he said he helped get her into the UFC, right? Mm-hmm. So he should be pretty proud of that moment. Yeah, with Agapova, her
striking looked good too.
What Agapova reminded me of was when I played the first UFC game and I didn't know what I was doing and I was just button smashing. I was just like, dude, let's see if one of these works, right? Yeah. And she was just like, kick, punch, kick, just like nonstop. Like you said, Shannon Dobson, man, just with the takedowns, was able to kind of kill some time that way, regain her composure. And you could see Agapova didn't feel very comfortable down there. I mean, like you said, she took her back, but Shana just felt so much more comfortable on the ground at that point. So
I think Agapova
some big takeaways.
Yeah, I think Agapova just like I said, the complete lack of respect for Dobson's game. I think she just was not. She was like, I'm gonna take this fight, 3-fight losing streak, and then she saw the odds and she was like, I got this. This is no threat. And then all of a sudden, any type of resistance was like, oh shit, wasn't ready for this. So
Yeah.
that's what it seemed like.
Yeah. I mean, that was a fun fight too, though.
Yeah, I mean,
fun fight as well.
Fucking awesome. The biggest underdog win in UFC history.
Yeah, hey, for sure don't start barking when you win afterwards, though.
Yeah. It's better than Jessica I's The Woofs. You seen that?
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
That's
I mean,
tough.
let's not do either of those.
That's tough. The barking in
All
general,
right,
I've never been a fan of. It's like, unless
Same.
you're DMX, just don't.
He's the only one that was able to get away with
the only one. He really is.
All right, man. I think the next one was the co-main event. Prachnio versus, what do they call him? Slow Mike Rodriguez?
Yeah. Yeah. And also, we should probably say that OSP versus Menafield should have been the co-main, but COVID, all that jazz, which would have been a fun fight. Yeah, would have been a fun fight. Menafield looks
hopefully he's okay.
Scary. Yeah.
He does, and hopefully OSP's okay.
Yeah, I mean, it seemed. I mean, he was asymptomatic, right? He tested positive, and he didn't know, so that's good.
Yeah, asymptomatic's definitely better if you have COVID. I mean, let's not get COVID, but if you do have it, at least he's asymptomatic. You're right.
Yeah.
So, what do you think of this fight, though?
It was sick. Prachnio was the underdog, right? And it seemed when they were announcing it, his like composure and everything, I was like, oh shit, dude, this guy looks like he knows something that nobody else knows. And I was like, here we go. We already had one big upset. Let's see it. And then, and it was like a nice kind of competitive fight. And then once they initiated the clinch, son of a
Muay Thai
bitch,
clinch, man.
He's
solid.
So much control and the ability to vary his attacks in the clinch.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he pretty much landed everything you can land in a Muay Thai clinch.
Yeah, he had him so concerned about that knee to the body that when he broke off of that and landed that elbow, oh my God, that elbow was so clean right on the temple.
Reminded me of when Johnny Walker KO'd Khalil Roundtree.
Oh, yeah.
Literally sent Khalil Roundtree to Thailand to go train his Muay Thai because he was like, that. I got exposed with that. And that was
for sure.
Yeah, slow Mike Rodriguez, but once he was in the clinch, that was those were some quick shots.
And I think they said they should change his nickname to Effective Mike Rodriguez.
Because
that clinch, man, was just phenomenal.
Yeah, really looked good.
And we talked about another fun fight, man. One of my buddies was saying that, they didn't really like this card. And I was like, what are you talking about? There's just so much fun stuff to talk about on this.
Those cards are always the best. The star power crazy cards rarely live up to expectations. It's cards like this where people are like, oh shit, I got bumped to a co-main. I'm going to come out. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, oh shit, I'm an 870 underdog. And that doesn't happen in high-profile fights. It's only going to happen in kind of lower-level fights. And that's when it's like,
Except
I'm coming out with something
Holly
to prove. Yeah, very rarely.
That's the exception.
Yeah.
That's the exception, for sure.
TJ Dillashaw versus Renan Barao. It's happened before, but it's very rare. It's very rare.
Yeah. Man, it was fun.
Yeah, great card.
All right. Did you have anything else on that fight?
Not necessarily. Interesting to see. It's going to be interesting to see Mike Rodriguez kind of get some tougher opponents, kind of refine his game a little bit, and just kind of see what he has to offer. Yeah,
and I think Mike Rodriguez still has some work to do, right? With the right opponents, like Prachnio right now, I think it was a perfect opponent for him. Yeah, but we'll see what he can do.
Yeah, and clearly he's a guy that will capitalize on opportunities that he's given. So that's always fun to keep an eye on.
For sure. And I'm guessing this is your story of the fight, Will, coming up? As is mine. Yes, it is. I mean, it was kind of hard for it not to.
Come on. It's the boy. And also, I want to mention that our last episode, neither of us picked a story of the fight. We just went through the whole card and never even brought it up.
Well, shit, maybe we should change the name of the podcast then.
Yeah, Will and the Bum.
Will and the Bum, dude. Can you imagine if we end up making shirts ever? Will and the Bum would be so fantastic.
Yeah, just have you like in like a flannel with the hoodie on underneath it.
That's so funny.
A scratchy beard.
So, what do you think of this one here?
Man, what a great fucking fight, dude. So good.
It delivered.
Yeah, and luckily my biggest fear, like I have legit stress from this and anxiety which is stupid, but when I know there's fights going on that I care about, even if it's just one, if there's fights that I care about and I'm not able to watch it live, I'm so preoccupied and nervous about seeing spoilers or somebody messaging me or something about it, and then it's like shit, because it's just not the same, you know. When you watch it live, you're like, oh shit, like every second it feels like it's important, and then when you know the outcome, it's like you just know it. You know people are safe when they're fighting. Like sometimes I'll watch a fight and then I'll be like, oh, did you see the fight? And then someone will say no, and they'll be like, oh, was it a finish or did it go to decision? And it's like, I'm not even gonna tell you that, because I hate that when someone says, oh, it was a good fight but it went to decision, and then in the second round someone gets dropped and looks like they're out. When I'm watching it, I'm like, they survived this. I know they survived this because I know it went to decision. I hate that shit.
Yeah.
So
that's why when I was posting, I was like, hey, dude, just a heads up. Don't look at our Instagram account because I'm posting some results right now, right?
Yeah,
so, and I know that. Yeah, I'm the same way, you know. So
and
if you don't spoil it.
Yeah, I almost, because I have 3 Instagrams, right? I have my personal one, the story of the fight, and then I have one for Dread Element, our short films. And so I get notifications for each of them, all 3 of them, and there was 2 notifications, one from my personal account and then one from like someone liking a post from Story of the Fight. And I accidentally tapped on it and it started loading the picture that I'm guessing was the one. And I like closed out real quick and I was like, oh shit, almost got it. And I was like, I know Ramiro said this one's going to be, there was a spoiler on there.
So close.
So close.
I mean, there were some fights that were really fun, and like, that's why when I started texting you, you said I'm not watching them live. I was like, okay, then I'm just going to stop commenting on these fights. You know, I think the comment I sent you was like, that last fight was a lot of fun or something like that. I just didn't want to spoil it. Which is
perfect. You know, then it's like, okay, there's fights that are worth watching after the fact. Good.
Man, and there was some, I remember on Story of the Fight, too, for Instagram, I posted, just asking what people thought were the results, or what the results were going to be for the Edgar fight. And a large percentage of the followers ended up going with Munhoz.
I think only like 4 media members gave it to Edgar. I had Frankie clearly won round 2. Very clearly, the clearest round of the fight, in my opinion. I thought he won round 5 as well. I thought 3 and 4 definitely went to Pedro, but the first round, I was like, that goes to anybody. It depends on what you like in fighting. You like someone who can evade shots and counter. You like someone who presses the pace a little bit more. What do you like? Because damage wise, very even. Do you like leg kicks or do you like combos? Like, what do you like? So for me, it was at the end when they were announcing the decision, I was like, no matter what they say, I'm okay with, because it was so close. How did you have it? And I did give the edge to Frankie, but that's my bias.
I give the edge to Frankie too. Mm-hmm. I went 3-2 with Edgar. Dude, his footwork, again, you talked about it. Yeah. You talked about it with Coach D. Mm-hmm. His footwork's amazing. His combinations are so crisp. That's all you have to watch. It's so much fun. And in the middle of the fight, I turned to my wife, I turned to Mindy, and I tell her, man, I would love to see Don Cruz versus Frankie Edgar at this weight. Yeah. And later on that night, Ariel Helwani must have been listening to me, eavesdropping, because he posted the exact same thing. But that would be such a fun fight, man.
It'd be such a fun fight. And it's one of those things where part of the reason why this is Story of the Fight for me is not just because it was my favorite fight of the night, and clearly I'm a huge Frankie Edgar fan, but the fact that Frankie was the champ at 155 for so long, and clearly this is the division he should have been fighting at his whole life. The fact that we finally get to see him at 135, and it's not too late. I mean, Pedro Munhoz is dangerous, very dangerous fighter. The fact that Frankie Edgar at whatever, how old is he? Like 37, 38?
38.
Yeah, the fact that he can come in and fight a guy like Pedro Munhoz, finally we get to see him, and he can stand a trade and looks really good. He won a close fight. He
took some big shots too.
Took some big shots, very big shots that I was like, fuck, man. At 38, with the weight cut, with all the fights he's been in previously, was just finished for the first 2 times in his career in the past year, 2 years. I mean, I was a little worried for him going into it, to be honest, just because Munhoz hits so hard. But the fact that we finally get to see him at this weight class and he looks good, he confirms everybody's thoughts about it, and it wasn't too late in his career. It wasn't. This fight didn't end with us saying, "Man, if only we saw Frankie in his prime at that weight class."
Yeah.
You know, that doesn't come up now. I mean, it
I'm
technically
excited
could.
because we get to see one more title run for Edgar.
Dude, him versus Piotr
It's not going to
Jan.
happen at 45. Of course, it's 55's out of the picture. That's history. He held the title there, which is crazy enough.
Insane.
Right? At
And
145.
I thought he never lost it.
Yeah. At 145, we saw him make his title run there, right? And I just don't see him being able to win the 145 title.
It's not going to happen.
He was in a war with Holloway. He took a beating with Holloway. You know, he had a nasty knockout against Ortega. So
Korean Zombie finished him.
Yeah, this is why for me it was story of the fight, because for me this was a make or break for Frankie's career in a sense. I'm not saying that he would have retired after this, but I am saying that if he would have lost this fight, I don't think we would see another title run from Frankie Edgar, and at that point he would just be getting fun, exciting fights, which I don't want to see Frankie in that position yet. I think that we see Cowboy in that position right now, which sucks.
Yeah.
'Cause I'm a huge Cowboy fan. We had an opportunity to meet him. Coolest dude ever.
Very cool.
You know, and Frankie's another one of those legends. When I first really started paying attention to MMA, you know, I think about Uriah Faber, and Frankie Edgar is another one of those that comes to mind. So he's like one of those last legends that I've been really watching since I started watching MMA that could still make another title run and make it super exciting.
Yeah, I mean, dude, like I've said before, I think my freshman year in high school, I wrote a paper on BJ Penn. You know, or not on BJ Penn, sorry, on Frankie Edgar.
Frankie Edgar.
I was going through his record right now and saw BJ's name when I was saying that. But he's just always been, to me, similarly to DC, especially at heavyweight, where DC is a smaller fighter. Probably if he was in the athletic prime physical shape that most people would go by, he'd be fighting at middleweight. But Frankie, man, at lightweight, the fact that he was able to hold that title at lightweight when clearly he should have been a smaller... I mean, he looks great at 135. Fantastic. What other 135er can you name that could potentially be a lightweight champ? Nobody, really. Maybe Sean, if Sean O'Malley, if he really tunes up his game and bulks up just because of his size already. And that's because he's gigantic for 135. But nobody else is really... and I'm not saying Sean's champion level right now. I'm just saying frame-wise, he's the only person that could actually move up to 155, in my opinion.
As long as his foot holds up.
Maybe him putting on some muscle might keep it held together.
Maybe.
You know,
maybe I don't know.
Meat on those
he
bones.
looks fine now. He's posting stuff on Instagram, dancing around on the exact same foot. Yeah, so it must have not been too hurt. But this is what I was talking about here. So I posted who wins Saturday night. 57% of our followers said Munhoz, with 43% going Edgar. So I mean, it was pretty close. Pretty close, but I know that there was a lot of people doubting Frankie going in. So I was very excited to see him. Very excited to see him.
Especially because Munhoz's last win or last fight was the Garbrandt fight, right?
Yeah, where he knocked him out.
No, he lost to Sterling.
Got it.
Yeah. Wow, that's crazy. I forgot that Garbrandt fight seems so much more recent.
Completely forgot about that too.
But I mean, Munhoz is legit, very legit, and he hits hard as fuck. And the fact that Frankie, like you said, brutal fight with Max Holloway, was finished by Korean Zombie in the first round, KO'd by Ortega in the first round. It's just, you see the writing on the wall almost, and it happens with fighters who've been fighting forever. I mean, when was his first UFC fight? It was
50 years ago.
His first UFC fight was fucking hell, UFC 67, All or Nothing, in 2007. So
wow,
it's rare when you start seeing that writing on the wall and then course correction. No, we're good. We're still good. So I'm very excited to see him at 135.
So at 135, of course, you have Petr Yan, right?
Yeah.
Marlon Moraes, Aljamain Sterling, Cody Garbrandt, Corey the Sandman Sandhagen. I think that's one of the best nicknames in the UFC, by the way.
It's really good.
And we just saw him beat Pedro Munhoz, right? So where do you think your boy lands in the rankings?
Well, so if we're going top to bottom, so Petr Yan, he's not going to get a title shot off of Munhoz. Not right now.
Nope.
Marlon Moraes, probably not ever going to fight each other. I think they both train with Mark Henry. Aljamain Sterling should be getting the next title fight.
That's what Dana said.
Yeah.
That's what Dana said, yeah.
He's saying, but he's still weird about it and kind of like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But I think it's going to happen.
I don't know what he has against him, man, because he is super hesitant to just 100% buy in.
I think they didn't want to say confirm Aljamain because they were in talks with Cejudo. That doesn't happen. Now he can say. That's what I think personally. Cody's going down a division to fight for the belt. There's Sandhagen coming off a loss. He just beat Munhoz. I think you have to do either. I mean, he just beat in the top 5, right? So you have to do either Sandhagen. I don't think he does Aldo because we've seen it before. Assunção's coming off a loss, a brutal loss. I could see it being either Assunção or Rivera, Jimmy Rivera.
Okay.
Or Sandhagen. I think it depends if the UFC wants to push him to another title shot. If they want him fast track to a title shot, he'll fight someone like Sandhagen, which is a very tough fight.
Well, I mean, you have Aljamain Sterling that should be getting the title shot, maybe. Yeah. Cody Garbrandt's getting a title shot against Figueiredo, right?
Yeah.
So that leaves Marlon Moraes, Corey Sandhagen. Like you said, Sandhagen, the Sandman Sandhagen would be a very tough fight. But if they are going to push him, that'd probably be the direction to go in. Outside of that, the only other thing you can do is if you want to build them up within the division first before you push him up, is just give him that fight against Cruz.
Yeah, and what's Cruz doing? Where's Cruz at right now, health wise?
Oh shit, dude, I don't know, man. He's Mr. Glass. There's always something going on with him, but from what I remember, he was healthy.
Yeah. Yeah, I could see either Sandhagen or someone like Jimmy Rivera or Assunção. I think it would be his next 3 options. Would be my guess.
You also got Jose Aldo in there.
Yeah, but I don't see them doing that because they did that fairly recently, at 145.
Very true. Very true. Yeah, so maybe we should call Uncle Dane and tell him, let's get Sandhagen in there or Rivera.
Yeah, I don't know if I would like to see him fight. It sucks that I don't want to see him go down and fight someone less like under him, but Assunção or Rivera would be a sick fight. I think Sandhagen might be a little bit too much for him right now. And if Aljamain and Yan fight, I would like to see Sandhagen. Let's do Sandhagen versus Moraes, and then Edgar can fight someone like Jimmy Rivera or Assunção. That's what I would want to see. Because Moraes, I feel bad for Moraes. He was like on his way to a title shot, beats Jose Aldo, and then Jose Aldo gets the title shot. I understand why, right? But it does. If you're Moraes, that sucks. If I'm Moraes, I'm like, what the fuck? It's a win on my record. And then he's like, okay, fine. Cody's back. He just knocked out Assunção. He signed to fight Cody, and then the whole Figueiredo thing happened, and Cody's like, I'm gonna go down and fight for the belt. And then Moraes is like, well, fuck, dude. What am I supposed to do now?
Which, by the way, that's a fun fight too.
It's an awesome fight.
I know. God, we're so spoiled right now with the UFC.
Yeah.
There's so many good fights coming up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A
lot of stuff for us to talk about.
Yeah, and how about the fact that this card was supposed to have Uriah Hall versus Yoel Romero?
Oh, true.
Like crazy. All these fights.
I know.
And then the next one, who's the co-main on the next UFC card?
Oh, I don't remember off the top of my head.
It is Robbie Lawler versus Neil Magny. Come on.
Oh, yeah.
What a great fight.
Robbie Lawler,
So
way to
good.
step up, man. Way to step up.
Yeah. So, like you said, just very good time for fighting. GSP looks like he's lean as fuck, ready to go, ready to fight Khabib. Still got to get past Justin, but everything looks good. John Jones moving up to heavyweight.
Yeah, did you have a chance to see Bader's fight?
No.
No? Man, he looks sluggish.
I mean, how old is Bader?
Shit, old. But he looks sluggish, man.
Ryan, the
and Bader's
Master
another one of those
Bader.
fighters. The Master Bader, dude. They
You
need
said-
to change his nickname ASAP.
You said Mindy had the best one for him with Darth, but or no.
No,
his
she
was-
said the Master.
Yeah, she said the Master. Okay, yeah. Darth is
She
his
said the
nickname,
Master.
right? Yeah.
Yeah,
It's gotta be the
Master
Master.
Bader.
Come on.
Dude, why not? But yeah, I mean, he seemed a little sluggish. Nemkov, young guy, really hungry. Did you at least see the highlight?
No, I didn't, but I
No,
can.
dude, you're not missing much. It's just one of those things.
Oh.
He was just. It was they were going back
Gassed.
and forth, but Nemkov, you could just see he had so much energy, and they were breaking away, and Nemkov just comes with a high right kick to the head, and he
Oh, really?
catches him with the shin right on the back of the neck,
Mm-hmm.
and now this one I think could have been stopped a little bit sooner
Really?
because he was getting pummeled quite a bit, and he was still trying to defend. You could see he was still trying to stand up, and he stood back up. And he kind of did one of those Daniel Cormier things where he's like out of it, in the time where John Jones got Daniel Cormier, where he
The
tries
big-
to like kind of, and he tried to jog away a little bit
Oh,
with his
yeah.
back turned towards him. So he just clocked him with the left hook, and down goes Bader. Master Bader was out, man.
Yeah, that high kick was brutal. I'm watching it right now.
Yeah, it was rough. But I mean, not much to say about that one. It's just that I know Ryan Bader was somebody that it has a lot of fans out there, huge fan base, and
Dude,
somebody that was a double champ.
When I was in middle school, I had a dream one time that Ryan Bader came to my middle school PE class to help like teach us some drills or some shit.
That's so awesome that you even remember that dream. It was that vivid
Yeah.
that you're like, yeah, man, I remember when I was in 7th grade.
Yeah, dude, it was just like Ryan Bader of all the fighters I could have dreamt about coming to my PE class in middle school.
Dude,
No
yeah,
disrespect.
man, I mean, come
but-
on. It's all good, man. All right. Well, that covers that. That covers UFC Vegas 7. Do you have anything else you want to talk about, sir?
Not necessarily. It was a great card, and we've talked about it before. And me personally, just seeing Frankie Edgar get a win is always will make my whole day.
Yep. And UFC fans, I mean, we got to enjoy these cards, right? I know that there's not a lot of huge names on there, but I think this is where smaller names start becoming larger names, and you have an opportunity to see stars being born. You start people coming out of their shell, and you start, remembering some of these names, and you're able to see. I remember in UFC 7 when I saw, slow Mike Rodriguez come through with that elbow. Where I saw my Uncle Cholo Daniel Rodriguez come through with a great performance. But these are the fights that we really have to enjoy, because this is where we start building up fighters. They start becoming household names in cards like this. They're still fun. We got to enjoy them.
Back when I had like cable, like Access TV would always have like LFA, RFA, all these small organizations, right? And it's those cards where you start watching people, and it's like, I don't watch football, but people have told me the reason
You should.
college football, I know, the reason people say like college football is so fucking awesome is because all these players are like, I'm trying to make it to the NFL. I'm going to show you what's up. I'm going to ball out on the field, all this stuff. And it's the same thing with these lower organizations. And then even now in the UFC, it's so big that you have some of these fighters that some would say should be fighting in those organizations still. But you have them in the UFC now, and they're trying to do the same thing. They're trying to showcase themselves. Hey, I got bumped to a co-main. I'm going to knock this dude out with an elbow in the clinch.
Got to
You know
show
what I
up.
mean?
Got to show
Yeah.
up. Yep. No, I love it.
Almost every time the consensus is, oh, this card's going to be shitty, there's nobody on it. Almost, I would say 90% of the time, it's a great card.
Yeah, you go in with somewhat lower expectations, right? But you come out really happy with the results, man. And again, this is a perfect example of a card where, you look at this and again, you say, Daniel Rodriguez versus Dwight Grant. Okay. Agapova
I was hyped on that.
versus Shana Dobson.
I was hyped on the Grant fight.
I'm hyped off of any Daniel Rodriguez fight right now, just because I think he's a fun fighter to watch. And like I said, he reminds me a lot of my homeboys from back home. Yeah. You know what I mean? So,
yeah. But I think, go ahead.
I'm just saying for some fans that might not appreciate these types of cards, they don't see some of those big names on there and they say, well, this isn't going to be very much. Or they decide to tune in right in time for the co-main event and the main event because of those names that are somewhat unrecognizable right now. For somebody like you and myself who pay more attention to this than the average fan, I mean, we get excited about some of these cards, right? But, man, I just wish more people hopped on these cards early, get to know some of these fighters early in their career so you can enjoy their ascension into stardom. Yeah,
it's always great because then you get, like, watching someone like Adesanya before he was in the UFC, watching all his other fights, and then when you see him finally come over, you're like, oh, shit. And everyone's like, oh, this new guy. And it's like, no. Like, if you were watching up to this point, you'd be even more hyped. Like, I don't know. And getting to watch like Brian Ortega when he was in his RFA fights, because I used to watch the old Gracie blogs with Henry Gracie.
YouTube videos.
Ortega was always in there, and then he was like, "Hey, Ortega's gonna start fighting MMA," and I was like, "Oh shit, that dude with the crazy eyes, let's do it." And then and then I'm like expecting watching his RFA fights, I'm expecting these crazy submissions and stuff, and he's out there knocking people out, and I was like, "Oh shit!" And then he makes it to the UFC and just crazy.
I love it, man. I can't wait to see him fight.
Yeah, it sucks the persona that he's started to adapt a little bit. Because I know that's not really who he is, But you got to do what you got to do to make these fights. I mean, him versus Korean Zombie is going to be massive because of all that. So it just sucks.
Fame does some weird shit to people, though.
Yeah, definitely. And I don't even think it's that necessarily. I think it's just him hyping fights, selling fights.
Yeah.
But it sucks seeing a lot of fans have lost their... Like, a lot of people enjoy watching the Max Holloway fight with him because they like seeing him get his ass kicked now. And it's like, you see that online, I'm like, that's my boy, though. It sucks. I didn't like that fight.
No, for sure. But yeah, like the whole thing that started happening with Korean Zombie, the way that little Twitter war they have going on, and then when he smacked, what's that guy's name?
Jay Park.
Yeah.
Who gives a fuck? All of a sudden, the Diaz brothers get all famous and popular. All of a sudden, everybody loves their antics. And then it happens, some guy's talking a bunch of shit, gets slapped. All of a sudden, it's like a huge travesty. And it's like, if it was Nate that did that, everybody would be like, yeah, it's the shit, dude. He fucking, what's up? But, because it's not Nate Diaz, we hate it now? Come on, the dude was talking shit. You talk shit to a fighter. What the fuck are you doing?
What do you expect?
Yeah, he's a fucking fighter, dude. And, he's a fighter. He shouldn't have put his hands on him. He didn't punch him.
Play with the bull, man. Play with the bull, you're going to get the horns. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, that shit pissed me off, but whatever.
Yeah, I can tell you just got really, riled up right now.
Everyone was like, he's a fighter. He should be fully disciplined for attacking a non-fighter.
Dude, it'd be different people. It'd be different if he clocked him. It'd be different if he fucking slammed him, choked him out. He just slapped him. He just gave him a little...
Meanwhile, Conor fucking lands his best left hand on an old man in a bar. Everybody still loves him.
And that old man took it, though. Man took it like a fucking champ, man. You know, he just fucking stares at him, and everybody else around him goes crazy, and he just turns back and fucking takes another drink out of his whiskey. Yeah. Sign that fucking guy. Contender Series, fucking sign him up.
I want to see him fight Alexei Olenek. Let's do it.
Same age. Let's fucking do it.
Oh, Jesus.
All right, bro. Well, that's all I got, man. That's all you got?
Same. That's all I got. Same.
All right, everybody. Thanks for listening to Story of the Fight this week. Talk to you soon. All right, everybody. Thanks for listening to Story of the Fight. We really appreciate everybody's support. If you don't mind hitting the subscribe button, and when you do subscribe, make sure that you hit the notification button as well. That way you get notified whenever we upload anything new. Don't forget to hit the like button. It goes a long way for us. And leave some comments. We love interacting with everybody.
Yeah, and if you want to stay even more up to date, you can follow us at Story of the Fight on Instagram and Twitter. And you can email us at storyofthefight@gmail.com. Ask questions, give us feedback, critique us. We want to make this better, and input helps us do that.
Thanks for listening to Story of the Fight, everybody.